Yo, yo, get up, nah I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. Rising the song to the highest bidder. Got juice, got gas, I'ma move fast. New shoes, new tracks, like who's that? I'm new, come back, better than last. Yeah, it's a new me, never gonna look back. Never gonna look back. Cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast. And that's facts.
Welcome
Yes.
to the Chicago Sports Podcast. I'm your host tonight, D Nice. I'm with my man Annie Up, and
Yes, yes.
it's always good when we talking to Chicago Bears. The
All
topic
right.
tonight is Caleb ready to take that leap to become the elite quarterback we all think he already is, or will he fall into the realm of mediocre? Now we're not gonna think like that. We just gonna, you know what I'm saying. We gonna start with the first thing.
For
And
sure.
before we get to rolling, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank everybody that's in here,
Yeah,
everybody that's
absolutely.
joining, and for the people that's on the way, y'all get on in here and get comfortable. We're gonna talk some Bears tonight.
Come pull up, y'all. Pull up on us.
Annie Up, how you doing, my man?
How you doing, brother? I feel good, man. I'm ready to talk some Bears, man. This is another part of my therapy, bro. You know how that go.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. It's a scary thing when the Bears have to be your therapy because it always go the other way. You
That's
know what I'm saying?
the crazy part is this though, bro. Even though I mean, like if you look back on the past however many years, we ain't had much success, bro.
Yeah,
It's that's how you know you're a real Bears fan, bro, because you
indeed.
just ready. I don't care how many times we lose, I'm still ready to get back out there, bro. You hear what I'm saying?
Oh,
Like, but anyway, that's neither here nor there.
hey man, listen. Have it go. We roll with the ups. We slide with the downs. You
That's a
know,
real
Bears.
Bears fan for you,
Hey
bro.
man, we true to it. Not new to it. Indeed,
Yep.
indeed. So man, what you think about the subject tonight? Do you feel like Caleb is ready to take that necessary leap to the elites?
Hey, man, if you asking me, and I'm a homer, but still in all, let's look back on Caleb last year.
Right.
All right, clearly had one of the worst coaching staffs in the league. Our offensive line was shaky. I saw some times where we had little hints of brilliance every now and again on certain plays, but for the most part, our offensive line was shaky as hell. And this man still went out there and threw 20 TDs, 6 picks, 3,500 yards. Okay, that was on a bad day in the office, bro. Like a bad day in the office. So now we plug up all the deficiencies and stuff on the line, most of them at least. We got weapons galore in the air attack. We got versatile weapons. We just keep bringing in talent on talent. And our defense before Briscoe went out was pretty solid. We got real coaches in the building. And you finna tell me this guy not about to... Now, it ain't all about 4,000 yards for me or
Right.
35 touchdowns. I could care less about that. I want to see winning football, and however that looks with Caleb slinging that pill is cool with me. If we running that thing and playing behind the play action, which I can see, whatever. I don't care about the stats. I want him to be efficient, of course. Clearly he was. He still, even with all of those sacks and stuff last year, he still only threw 6 picks. So yeah, bro, I think this is the year that Caleb go crazy. And people gonna try to slip back in the room, act like they never left the bandwagon and all that stuff, and that's fine. Come on,
Yeah.
we'll take y'all too.
We
But
got
yeah,
room for y'all.
I think this the year he turned up, bro, for real.
I couldn't agree more. And like you said, through all the turmoil, through all the inconsistencies up front, with the offensive line, through all the inconsistencies on the sidelines with the coaches,
Right.
he still came out and had a pretty decent year. If we're gonna base it from a rookie standpoint, I think it was a very good year. Because normally rookies don't come out and be as those numbers don't look like that for rookies. They usually have more interceptions than touchdowns. They usually don't complete the year. They usually don't have a lot of yardage that they throw for at all. So I think coming in, like you said, we put you back in. I'm bringing you back in here.
My fault, bro.
Now you good, you good. Like you said, we plugged up a lot of holes this
For
offseason.
sure, for sure.
On the field and off of it.
Absolutely.
Um, before things fell apart, people forget that the Bears are 4-2.
Yes, absolutely. Before
You
the
know,
Commanders game, right?
yeah, Bears were 4-2. Everyone felt pretty good about
Yeah,
in the direction that the Bears were going.
yeah.
But little did we know that we really didn't have a direction. We were just, you know what I'm saying,
Winging it.
winging it. Exactly. So coming into this season here, I can honestly say there's a direction.
Yes, sir.
First
Absolutely.
thing first,
Good point,
there
bro.
is a direction. So
Yeah.
with that alone, I think that's worth um an extra 1,500 yards right there. You know what I'm saying? The fact that there is a direction is worth at least 1,500 yards and about ten TDs. You know.
I'm
Now
with you, bro. I'm with you.
now I remember I'm old enough to remember that last year, expectations were extremely high.
Yeah, for sure.
A
For
lot
sure.
of our Bears fans had, I don't want to say unrealistic, I'll just say lofty. They
Okay,
had
love.
lofty goals for our number one pick quarterback, and he fell ultimately short of those goals, those numbers
True.
that a lot of our Bears or some of our Bears fans had. Like I heard a whole bunch of stuff. I heard 4,500 yards, 40 touchdowns. I just heard a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
But the expectations were very high coming into last year, and only thing that wasn't high is the coaching staff.
True story.
Now everything is on the up and up. Now, are things perfect? No, that's not what I'm saying. But things are a hell of a lot better than they were last year, and everyone was excited last year. There is no reason for anyone not to be excited coming into this season.
I agree.
Hopefully, the injury bug skips us and goes up north. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I don't see a reason why Caleb doesn't come in. Like I said, it's not all about those milestone marks, those 4,000 yards, and those 30 touchdowns. It would be wonderful,
Yeah,
but
it would be.
the question is, how wonderful would it be if we're not winning or if we're just mediocre?
Right.
The team. Now he could have some excellent numbers, and the team could still be mediocre, and we can still come out of this thing with a losing record.
Yeah, for sure.
So, like you said, if we can play winning football, the offense can execute properly, whether it's through with the run or through the pass, and we can score some points, and those guys on the other side can really get after it on defense. That's a successful year for me.
Yeah, I agree. I agree, bro.
All stats aside. Now, I would love for Caleb to blow up the scoreboard. You know, I would love for him to be in the MVP conversation all year long. I would love that. But more importantly, I want the Bears to win at least 10 to 12
Yeah.
games.
Yes,
That
man.
that
We
that's
need
that's
that.
what
We
means the
need
most to
that,
me.
bro. We need that. Hey, you know what I am willing to, if I am willing to say, Caleb is going to have a completion percentage in the high 60s, bro. 68, 69. I'm giving him that, bro, this year.
I'm with you on that. I couldn't, I would have to agree with that. Mainly because I feel like Ben Johnson's gonna put him in some excellent
Mm-hmm.
positions to be successful. Number one, and number two, we're gonna have the aid of the running game, man. Like
That's what they need to know.
a lot of people don't understand how the run game helps the pass,
That's what they need to know, baby.
and then we have guys that can run those short to intermediate
Mm-hmm.
routes, just to, what I'm saying, get those easy completions. Now don't get me wrong, I want to see some greatest show on turf
Yeah,
down the field action, but get the first down at
that's
the
what I'm
end of the
saying,
day.
bro.
At the end of the day, get the first down. If you want to dink and dunk up and down the field, hey, I'm
Hey,
with that
man,
too.
be efficient at it.
Right, right. And then because you heard word by some of the people that we kind of trust when we listen to them,
Mm.
we heard people say, "Well, Caleb wasn't aggressive enough. He should have thrown more interceptions and all that. That's something I don't understand. Because he goes out there, instead of 6 interceptions, he throws 16
And you really
interceptions.
dogging him.
Killing him. Killing him.
Oh,
Like,
that's
killing
wicked,
him.
man.
You know, and then you're killing Ryan Poles and you're killing the Bears franchise because what they'll say, again, the Bears has ruined another
Yep, that's where
quarterback.
Chicago, where quarterbacks go to die.
Right. So shout out to Caleb for keeping things kind of like, keeping things steady through troubling seas. And I expect a tremendous lead coming into next year.
And you gotta understand that even the guys in the locker room knew that the dude could play with all that was going on last year. That's all they were saying. It was like, you couldn't tell that he got better. Like, basically want to tell these people, like, you ain't watching enough Caleb then if you couldn't tell he got better. So I think he already didn't show, like, yeah, he was getting beat up, getting tuned up out there, and still getting back up, going out to play for a losing team. He could have been said, oh, you know what, my ankle is just not right, and set out all them games. He was still going out there getting whooped, bro. Like, that's the underrated side, the intangibles, because he was getting crushed last year and getting right back up and still going to play, make them plays, bro.
Toughness, like the
That hit
toughness
different,
aspect should
dog.
never be questioned. It should never be in question with Caleb Williams.
Absolutely
You know, you
not.
might can say a whole bunch of other stuff, but toughness is one thing that should never be questioned when it comes down to this guy. And remember, he was looked at as a prima donna. They
All of
called him a
that.
whole bunch
All
of
of that.
before the season started. But through this, listen, it's a lot that can be learned through a bad
True
season.
story.
You can tell the character of guys that you have on the team when things are going wrong. Because when everything is going right, everyone's happy. There is not an unhappy person in the building when you're winning
for
games.
sure.
But you tell the character of guys that you with and you're going to war with week to week when things are terrible.
Right.
Just like things went last year. And you seen Caleb in his interviews after the game. He had the same. He was even killed. He wasn't.
Didn't know.
We can't speak to what he felt
Right.
inside, but from the outside, he stood up. He answered every question. Even though it seemed like they were taking shots
They
at him
were.
or they were being slick with talking to him, he stood up in there and answered every question. Wasn't rude. Wasn't disrespectful. He stood up in there and took his lumps, and that's what you're supposed to do, man. Like. The measurement of who you are as a player is not, what I'm saying? Winning is a part of it, but a bigger part of it and a bigger character builder is how you react when things are falling the hell apart. And that's what we were after the Commanders game. That's exactly what was going on.
Yeah, absolutely. That's well said, my brother. Straight up.
Yeah. So numbers aside, man, like what are your expectations, as far as the Bears as a whole? I mean, of course, the subject is Caleb tonight, but as a whole, how do you see the Bears, navigating through this NFL?
To be 100 with you, bro, I expect them to finally become an NFL franchise. Like hey, say what you want to about those guys. The Packers, they'll let somebody go like Jair. If Jair get out of here, I bet you they got somebody on there who's gonna come step up and still be decent. He might not be Jair and all flamboyant and all that, but he gonna be solid. The Ravens, let's talk about it. The Steelers, you can say what you want to. The Kansas City Chiefs, the Philadelphia Eagles. I can go on and on, bro. So I think we're finally in training school, got our training wheels on to go in that direction of where we can be consistently compete, or make playoffs and get and draft well and plug and play and all of that and like really build our guys up. We finally about to do that. I will say, even the last couple of regimes, we got some gems for that. Like Jalen. I'm so glad we got Jalen, bro. Like, people say what they want to. I'm so glad we got Jalen. I like Brisker. I think Brisker gonna be okay, man. Like health wise, he gonna be all right. We got Gordon. We got some pieces, bro. But it's about finally time that we're like can say that we're going to be like those other franchises when each year we don't got to worry about how much we got to pay this guy and all that, because we got somebody right on his heels ready to be that guy, and he homegrown because we drafted him. We're about to head in that direction with the ain't nobody gonna be able to get our coach, bro. He's our head coach. Just think about it. Dennis Allen, our defensive coordinator. Dennis Allen had been a head coach twice in the league. He probably even spent the block his last time. So that's why I'm hoping he come out here and have us humming, bro, because he not going nowhere. You know what I mean? So finally, bro, we got like I'm gonna call it perpetual motion, man. I feel like we finally got some motion where once we start, it's just gonna keep going, as opposed to we got PTSD, so we get the little motion and then just stop us in our track and we be trash for like 2, 3, 4, 5 years in a row. I don't think that's. I think those days are behind us, bro. That's truthfully from my heart, bro.
Hey, well put, bro. Hey, before we move on, I'm going to give a shout out to the chat. Hey, shout out to, we got a new member here, Danny Alfaro. I hope I said your last name right, sir. Danny Alfaro 05.
Shout out, Danny.
He's new, he's liked, and he's subscribed. Welcome, Danny. Thank you for choosing us for your Bears content, and we're going to keep bringing it to you week after week, day after day. We appreciate you, sir. But yeah, hey, you said something, man. You really put that thing together then. And hey, say that. What is it? What did you call the movement?
Perpetual motion. We got to keep it moving,
yes, sir.
bro. We stop too much as an organization. We got to keep it moving forward, bro.
Yeah. Yes, indeed, man. I think we will, man. I think things are coming together. We'll find out more as training camp. As we get closer to training camp, because the coaches are going to set the culture, and it's up to the players, from the quarterback down to buy in to the culture that's set. So it's going to be real interesting to see how this thing transpires. And not only Caleb having a great year, I think it's going to be a great year for the tight ends and the receivers. I definitely think this is going to be. I think because my whole thing was maybe less is more. When we had Keenan and we had a decision on him, do we bring him back or do we bring someone else in, and things of that nature. Keenan is a guy, he's going to want his touches. Now the guy that we brought in from the Commanders, Zacchaeus is what we would call in the hoop world, what we call a role player. Somebody that's gonna get it in. He's gonna get in where he fit in. He's gonna find his place, and when he gets his opportunity, he's gonna do his thing. He's not what we call a high maintenance receiver, but he is a guy that's productive. And like I said, when his number's called, I think he can answer the bell.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely.
And now we go into our second year wide receiver, and that's Rome Odunze. I think Rome is kind of scheduled for a pretty big breakout season on his own.
I agree, bro.
Because the season he had last year, it could have been a heck of a lot better. Everybody on the Bears could have been a hell of a lot better. But the way things transpired, it didn't work that way. And so now we're here. So, with Ben Johnson coming in, and we, with the hopes, and then even with LB3, Luther Burton III, he's gonna come in. He's gonna come in this thing and try to find his place in it too. So it's gonna be, going into last year, there was talk of everybody getting 1,000 yards. Honestly, I don't think that's the attitude coming into this season.
I'll say I think these guys know what they have as far as coaches, bro. And to go back to what you said about Allen, I was a huge Keenan Allen fan. At the same time, I wanted some young bloods in there who, like, I knew it wasn't going to be Tyler Scott. No offense to Tyler Scott, but he wasn't assertive enough. I don't feel like he didn't seem like he was a dog enough to me. Now you got the total opposite problem with Luther Burton, and you got that, bro. And then we still figuring out our running back and how that's gonna go. I know it's gonna be a little committee. That's what That's what Ben likes. But the tight ends, we can go 12 now. You can get Luther Burton out there. You can put DJ in the slot. You can put Rome outside. You can, oh man, bro, you can put Loveland out there.
Yes,
Man,
indeed. Hey, man, not to cut you off,
no,
but we got a little company, man. Let's see what we got here. These tracks. Oh, what happened? Oh, I guess he chose not to join. But anyway, I'm sorry to
no,
cut
you
you off, man.
fine.
I thought we had
I
a
was just
special guest
marveling
in here.
at our squad, bro. We got some dogs on offense for a change, bro.
Yeah, and all right, let's go away from the skill
Okay,
positions because we know how that helps Caleb
true.
the success of the numbers and the breakout season. We understand how these skill guys
Yeah,
come in and help Caleb be the best he can be. Now let's talk about these trench guys. Let's
let's talk.
talk about the guys that don't get the fanfare. Let's talk about the guys that do the dirty work that really don't get recognized, you know what I'm saying, as much as they should. These are not the glamour guys. These are the nasty maulers that get in there and do, like I said, do the dirty work for the QB
Yeah,
to keep them clean, to keep them, you know what I'm saying, to buy them more
yeah,
time. And that's the offensive line.
yeah.
Much maligned, much scrutinized last year. Here we go. We got tracks. Tracks coming in. Tracks.
What's up, my guy?
He faded out again. But anyway, offensive line going in of last year was much
Yeah,
maligned, much scrutinized. Now, through free agency, we read up and got
yeah.
better. We got a bit. We got a couple of guys. You know what I'm saying? In the interior, that's gonna sure that thing up across the middle.
Absolutely, we do.
We get new guys, a Hall of Famer and a Super Bowl champion at guard and Thuney. We have a vested veteran at center. He had an injury. He had a little few injuries last year, but he's coming in. New. He got a new
Mm-hmm.
job, a new city in a new job in the new
Yeah,
city.
refreshing.
He's poised to make a statement. And then we have the guard on the other side.
Jonah, big
He's
Jonah.
Jonah Jackson. He's coming in, new job, new city. He ready to do his thing,
Had
former
the
Pro
guy the
Bowler.
back with the coach who we had the most success with. That means something too.
Yes, indeed. All right, we got Mr. Ed coming
Let's
in
go.
What's
here.
up, Derek?
Let me see. Ed.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. We hear you. How's it going,
Right
sir?
on, right on. It's going good, guys.
Good, good, good,
How you feeling tonight?
Awesome. How
great,
about
bro.
how about you
Right
guys?
on.
Feeling good, man. Talking
All is well.
talking bear.
All
Always
is
a good
well.
time talking bears with the guys, man.
Right, right.
Yeah, since you slid in on us, what you think about the subject, man? How do you feel? Do you feel like Caleb is poised to break out this next season?
I think so. I think so. With what we done to the offensive line, he already has some good weapons, right? And we just added a couple nice new ones. Um, yeah, he should be in good shape, man. I think, and I think he's watched. Think about how many times he's watched the tape from last year over and over and over, and he knows. He already said, man, a lot of them sacks was on him. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
he's he he's working on himself. Meanwhile, they're working on supplying him everything else he needs, man.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody, you remember when we drafted him, and everybody, all the analysts and all that, they all said, hey man, Caleb Williams is coming into the best situation, a number one uh pick quarterback
Quarterback up.
ever been in, because this ain't the last team in the league. They're kind of midway, and they just added a bunch of new weapons. Yeah, but we didn't do anything for them on the offensive line, and
No.
you know, a couple games in, the rest of the season it was shell shock. Just like
Yeah.
all our other quarterbacks got, man. We ain't had a real quarterback problem in a long time. all of the quarterbacks we've had since Jay Cutler were serviceable quarterbacks. We just never put a line in front of any of them, and they all were shell shocked. Cutler was too. Cutler was a damn good quarterback in Denver, right before we got him. Remember, we had to give up a bunch.
He had a couple strong years with us too, though.
He did. He did.
Yeah.
When he first got here, we had a little bit of a line, but we let it fall apart. We didn't rebuild it, and that's kind of when the line went down. Never came back up.
Yeah, that's true. They were just acting
That
like
was a long time ago, boys. That was a long time ago. You know how many times I yelled at the TV and the GMs, for doing this to us on the offensive line all these years. Man, we all know it starts up front, and everybody says it, including them, and they just never got around to making it right. You know what I mean? But it looks like we're actually doing something about it now, and that's great.
About time. It's
good to see, right?
Well, I think the biggest thing, because people say the Bears never addressed it. I think we did address it, and we tried our best to, but we just kept picking the wrong guys.
We did pick some wrong guys.
We kept picking the wrong.
A couple.
We picked some wrong guys.
A couple.
And it was a couple that tricked us. Gabe Karimi is one that comes to mind. Karimi is one that comes to mind.
Yeah.
He tricked us because we had a real need at that tackle.
What about Big Colombo?
Yeah. Hey, wasn't he, Darius? Wasn't he the dude that out of college had the video of him jumping out of a pool at the 3-foot end or something?
Nah.
Who was that?
Nah, that was he was the defensive.
Oh, was he? Who?
Yeah, that was the defensive lineman that did
that. Wasn't Hardy. Somebody, I forgot his name.
I never fell for that trick, and I was so pissed off with that was the only reference they had of the guy. That was the best film they had of him jumping out of the damn pool. I was like, "Oh, we in trouble. We picked the wrong guy."
Excuse me.
So, and what's another guy? Chris Williams, left tackle, Vanderbilt.
Yeah,
was that Vanderbilt?
Sure
that was Vanderbilt. Another guy that, well, he didn't trick me. I knew we got the wrong guy when we picked him. I was so I can't go back to who we could have had in that draft, but I didn't want him. I didn't want him at all. And sure enough, they was trying to move him around the line. They played him everywhere but center.
He was getting spanked
and he
everywhere.
Just couldn't get it right. And then he had a neck injury, and it was all she wrote. So, I mean, those are just two guys that come to mind. Now, you mentioned Colombo. Colombo actually went to Dallas and ended up having
Colombo got some deals, didn't
he? Yeah, he actually went to. I think he ended up in Dallas and actually had a pretty good
That's
rest
my
of his
fault,
career.
Colombo. I'm sorry, no disrespect, bro. I'm sorry, man.
Nah, but he
didn't do nothing for us, though. You don't have to apologize.
Right.
He didn't do nothing until he left.
Apologize.
I'm sorry, Mark. I didn't know. But yeah, bro.
And then we had guys like Blake Brockenmeyer.
I remember Blake Brockenmeyer.
Yeah, like we had guys who just, just didn't really cut the cake here, man.
And
then you seen
that
you seen these guys go other places and be successful.
That Colombo thing, that situation we was just talking about, remind me of another one recently. Daniels. Remember Daniels?
Yeah.
He just couldn't get it together here. We let him go.
Yeah.
He's been good ever since. He's been starting all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, he was solid here.
I wouldn't say that.
I'll say solid, because he had some games where, and he was so young.
Yeah, he was
I think
21.
He was like 20 years old playing for us. He was a young guy.
I don't know, but he did leave and go.
Yeah,
he did leave
guy.
and play. I think he went to the Steelers. I think he been killing down there.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Yeah. We always got we never go get the guy at offensive coordinator. I mean, offensive line coach, man. We never have a guy. Like, who's our last guy at that position, bro? Like
Harry Houston was the best.
All right, Harry.
But when it didn't go right with Harry, I was like, all right, it may not be the coach. It might be the things we got going on around this franchise. Because Harry has been
Yeah, for
regarded as
sure.
one of the
For
best.
sure. His name definitely does.
And shout out to the chat. We got my man West Philly Black. He said the Bears haven't had a QB since Sid Luckman. Everybody likes to use Sid. Everybody likes to use Sid, but we've had a couple of guys in here that were serviceable. We just ain't had a stud. And from the standard of today's football, I don't even think Sid to be a stud in today's football. But nevertheless, he is an all-time Bears great, and we do give him respect for that. Corey says Caleb is going to be at least 25% better if everything
I
goes
take that.
wrong.
I take that.
At minimum, he got to at least get us to a playoff game. I hear that. I hear
Yeah.
that. Bear down, honey bear down the tracks. Go ahead, Ed. I'm sorry to cut you
No,
off.
I wasn't. I was agreeing with one of the comments you were reading about
Oh, okay.
him
Yeah,
needing to at least get to the playoffs. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's a good lookout on it. You know.
yeah, and we were talking before you came on, Ed. We asked the question, what do we deem a successful season? Not just for Caleb's sake in the numbers category, but just how his numbers has an influence on wins and losses.
Yeah, I mean
Because it is.
that's what it comes down to: wins and losses. We have to have a winning season. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
We got to have more
yes,
wins than losses. That's
yes. Because there is a world where Caleb can have a hell of a year statistically, and we still end up short.
Mm-hmm.
right, right.
So, for him to have a hell of a year statistically, and we still end up on the short end of the stick, really does us no good.
I agree.
So, yeah, yeah, yeah. So and Aaron Bronner says it's a tough division. I mean, I can't agree, but
We don't know.
listen,
It's
man.
some question marks.
When the going get tough, the tough
It's
get
some
Right.
question
going,
marks in
man.
our division right now, bro. Because the Packers get to the
I agree with
playoffs
that
and
too.
forget how to play football. We don't
Right.
know what
Yeah.
that rookie gonna do at QB with the Vikings. And if Ben Johnson wasn't the man over in Detroit, we sure finna find out. So I'm not ready to just be like,
Yeah, and if anybody knows Detroit, he does, right?
I'm
Sure. Right.
Detroit's so bitter about the trade, well, about us signing them that they try to make it seem like he was just downplay his impact on their franchise so bad. So I'm just trolling at this point, bro.
But you know what? Hey, they can say what they
Right.
want, but the fact that they hate to see him gone
Uh-huh.
tell us
Yeah,
everything we
buddy.
need to know.
Yeah.
Yeah, buddy.
That's for sure.
Hey guys,
So yeah, man. I mean, we see teams with a lot worse quarterback issues than we have for a change. So I don't think it's far fetched that the Bears win the division. I don't think that's far fetched to say.
We don't.
I just don't think so. Now, someone may think, well, I don't think we'll do that. I think we're good for a wild card, but a wild card would be cool. But I think there's a possibility that we can win this division.
I believe it too.
Now, of course, the injury bug is a huge thing that we have to try to avoid. Most
Yeah,
the most
always.
successful team, the most success. Let's keep it
Right.
real though. The most successful teams have luck in that
Yep.
department
Yeah.
first
Yep.
before anything.
And speaking of 2018, like you did earlier, we had good luck with injuries that year. If you remember, we didn't hardly have any injuries. A lot of teams had injuries that year. We dodged it, man. We didn't. We had a couple minor
Yeah.
injuries, and guys maybe
Mm.
missed the game or something. But yeah, we were pretty solid with the no injuries in 18.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. The only thing, even though he played his butt off in 18, Mitch Trubisky,
He did.
he showed signs that he could be shaky as
Yeah.
ever during that
Yes, he did.
season. But he played his butt off. He did. He followed the
Yep.
script. word for
Mm-hmm.
word. You know, he did exactly what his coach wanted him to do.
and in that
Nothing more, nothing more, nothing
right,
less.
even in that playoff
You know what
game
I
that we
mean?
lost to Philly on the double
Oh,
dunk, he took that what would have been the game winning drive, right?
yeah.
Uh,
Yep.
down the field, got in decent field goal range, and that should have been the game winner.
Oh,
Um,
Should have been.
yeah, yeah. So he did everything, even in that game, in the playoff game, should have been a win, and we would have been going on. That could have been a Super Bowl run in 18, man.
mm-hmm.
Could have surely been.
Yeah, we had a whip,
For
man.
sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
We had
Uh,
Khalil Mack
For
too,
sure.
didn't we?
in eight, yes, we did. Yes, we
He
did.
was wreaking havoc over there that year.
For for Philly to catapult off our loss and take it all the way to the Super Bowl.
Twice.
Uh, hey, who you guys want to start with this year?
They say we got one of the
Wait, what? As
toughest
First,
far as
schedules in the
first
league.
first game.
game,
Who you want to start with?
man, listen. I wouldn't be upset if we started in division
I
first.
want to start in division. You know where I want to start, don't you, Darius?
Where you want to start?
No,
Detroit,
no, no.
Green Bay.
Yeah. We finished last season with a
Ah,
Green Bay win in Green Bay, and I
That
want
was
to play
tough.
them in
yeah.
Green Bay again.
Yeah,
Start with Green Bay in Green Bay. Beat them twice in a row in Green Bay.
that'd be
That's what I
nice.
want. That's how I want to
Why
start the
not?
season.
Why not?
Why not?
We started that 18 season like that. And we damn near left there with a victory, man. We were
Oh, that was sad, man. Oh, yeah.
hey, that game took us through so many highs and
Oh, you
lows,
ain't
man.
kidding.
Yeah. But starting off with Green Bay, listen, I'm up to that challenge. And at the end of the day, they are what you would call a bar that we got to see where we at. That's a measuring stick for
Yeah.
Yeah,
us. That's a measuring game. That's a measurement game for us. That game starting week one, even though everybody's 0-0, nobody knows anything. But from what we know of the Packers last year, I don't think much will change. But this will be a measuring stick because the last couple of years they've been pretty much, what I'm saying, one of the kings of our division. They've been better than us.
They've been taking us out. They've been spanking us. They've been spanking us for years, bro. So I want to see
Yeah.
them. We got a long way to go, and last year was a good way to start the start it off. We went in your Caleb can look at them boys in the eye and say he undefeated in their house when he go to
uh-huh.
Miami.
Uh-huh.
So that I don't care what
And
nobody.
just
I
imagine
lost a
how
lot
much
of money when he hit that
electricity.
damn field goal, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. I was still
Right.
happy. I was crying tears of joy on one side and tears of pain on the other. You feel me? So, but no, all jokes aside, man, I wouldn't mind playing those Green Bay guys first, bro.
Yeah.
And just imagine the electricity that we can get if we go in there and spank them on their home field. The last time we went in there and spanked them on their home field real good at the beginning of the year, we end up going to the Super
That's
Bowl.
a fact.
That's a fact. If anybody can tell me different, please correct me.
That was what was 2010 or 16? 10,
No, that
2006.
was
no,
that
2010.
was 2006.
7.
Yeah, sick.
6.
And I got locked out the house.
2006.
Okay.
I think we won 2023 to zip or 28 to zip. It was 20 something to zip
Wow.
or 20 something to six. But we went in. That's the Devin Hester's rookie
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
season. He ran a kickback. And Rex Grossman was slinging that thing like a pillow fight, man. He was slinging that thing, man. Hey, as the year got longer, he got the yips, but the beginning of the year, Rex was on
Man,
fire.
bro. They believed in
He was
Rex
on
over there,
fire,
bro.
man.
Old Rex did a lot of
Rex had
running
me
for his
excited,
life
man.
too.
So
Yeah, but
you would take Rex over what was the other guy who used to come in for him?
Who
Kyle
Cal?
Orton. Kyle Orton. You
Orton.
would take Rex over Kyle?
Man,
That's
they were so
yeah,
different.
they were different,
If you could have if you could have mixed them jokers together, man, we'd have a Hall of Fame
right?
QB, man.
Right.
If you can mix them together like they had
Man,
contrasting
that's a
Hey,
good
there
point.
styles,
was
That's
man.
right.
nothing. There was nothing fancy about Orton, but he was just smooth and calm. Man, the dude,
Smooth.
he, hey, he's the one that took us to the playoffs that year. I think he
Yeah, in
played 10 or
'05.
12 games with Rex being
Mm.
out.
That was '05.
Okay.
But the next year, Rex came in as a starter following the next
Okay.
year. But
Mm.
Well, I mean,
what I used to like about Kyle Orton is that when you seen him come out the huddle and walk up to center, you never knew if we were
Yeah,
winning
that's
or
a good point,
losing.
bro.
He was cool. He was calm. He was
Yeah,
collected. He could be having a game. He could be having a game from hell. You would never
that's a
know.
good point, bro.
Meanwhile, Rex, on the other hand, when Rex was struggling, the whole world knew. Hey, when Rex was struggling, Rex couldn't hit a 5-yard pass wide open. He couldn't hit it. He ended up throwing that thing in the stand somewhere, man.
Yeah.
hey, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't
But
know if you remember. Just little certain little things. I seem to remember from back in the day, but I remember when Mark Greco uh, on the news the very first day of training camp uh, when we drafted Grossman. He said, "Man, he's like, look, I'm gonna tell you, I don't know if this kid's gonna do well. I don't know how it's all gonna work out, but he goes, I can tell you one thing: that kid's got the strongest arm of any quarterback that I've ever seen in
mhm.
training camp." And he had already been doing this sports thing in Chicago for decades.
Mm.
At that time, Mark Greco,
Yeah.
uh, and so I got all excited. I thought, man, if Mark Greco
and
says this guy's got the strongest arm he's ever seen in camp, look out, right?
and and the thing is, I live in Atlanta. You know what I'm saying, I'm in SEC country, and I seen Rex at Florida. Guy wasn't big as nothing, but he gonna take this like 9-step drop, and at the end of that drop, he's gonna let that thing go, man, and it's gonna get there. Like, we can attribute it to Steve Spurrier's offense, but if you play under Steve Spurrier, you can toss that Tatum, man.
Mm.
You can toss that football if you play it under Steve Spurrier, man. As far as him as a head coach at Florida, man. But I seen Rex throw that thing around, man. He was pretty damn good at Florida, and I was kind of excited that we got
Mm.
him.
Yeah,
I think we got him at what, 22, first round, like
yeah,
22, and I know it was in the 20s. Yeah, it was in the 20s, and I was excited that we got him. But boy, oh boy, he took us for a ride, man.
I'm a Cuddy guy, man. I like Cutler, bro.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
I even liked his attitude. It was some games I'd be like, all right, bro, you need to be more engaged. But then at the end of it, it was like, well, we got beat by 30 anyway. You better. It's actually your attitude is a better vibe for what's going on. But as far as throwing the ball, bro, and the arm talent, he was the best I've seen in my day, bro. Like I'm like,
That
I
hasn't
like
been one
I
yeah,
better
like
in
Jay.
Chicago.
I don't badmouth Jay. A lot of people do. I don't.
They do. They take
Well,
turns taking a shot at him,
I
man.
know. The man just holds
And
almost all
and
the
I think
records that
Jay,
Luckman doesn't anymore.
right, and I think Jay is that mixture of those two
mm,
guys, Kyle Orton and Rex Grossman.
There you go.
He was a mixture, but he just had this swag to him though. That no matter what anybody said, he didn't give a damn what
nah, he
nobody
did.
said, man. And sometimes even his teammates, you know what I'm saying? When they was trying to give him some good game, man, he just like, whatever, let's go. And his first year with us a lot of turmoil, and it started out with Brian Urlacher missing the whole year.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew then that shit, we was in for it. But year 2 and year 3, Jay was on one,
Then he
man.
broke his hand,
He
broke
was
his
on
finger
one.
in that game. We was balling.
Yeah, that third year.
Yeah, we was balling, man. We was finna do some
We
special
was
things.
balling. Yep. He broke his hand trying to make a tackle on the
Yeah.
interception.
Oh my goodness.
Hate to bring back those
Yeah.
memories. K Flan 7, what's up with you, brother? Thanks for joining us. Yeah. Yeah,
Jordan
yeah,
Love,
yeah.
yeah, I think he's a
But
little overrated myself. He can play though. I like him, but he overrated for sure.
who was that?
Jordan Love.
Uh Man, listen, man. We can say that, but I bet you anybody, you know what I'm saying, if you ask them to keep it real with you, before Caleb, we would have loved Jordan, a guy like Jordan Love on our football team as a quarterback. We'd have loved a guy coming here throw for 4,000 yards and 34, 35 touchdowns. We'd have loved that. We would have.
But it
Yeah,
wouldn't
you
have
know,
happened
We
over
definitely
here
would have.
though.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
He could play.
I think it's gonna happen over here now. But I don't give Jordan Love a whole lot of hate because he had to sit back and
Yeah,
wait
he
his
definitely
turn.
did. He did
yeah.
that. He did
He
that.
But
did his
you know
thing.
what got me? I was expecting him not to be as good as he is.
I
They got him in the first round. Remember, they traded to get back into the latter part of the first round. What, 4 or 5 years ago, whenever it was, took him. I don't know, almost probably 28th or something like that. It was right around there. Pissed
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Rodgers off, because he was looking for a weapon. And what they do, they traded away extra picks to trade back up into the first to get a quarterback. What do they need a quarterback for? You know,
Oh, you gonna
and he
find
just
out.
signed it.
Yeah.
He just signed another deal, and well, then all the talk was about, Aaron ain't helping this dude at all. He ain't gonna show him nothing. He don't even like the fact that he's in the building, right? And so we're thinking, uh, this kid's, he's got to learn by himself because Aaron ain't giving him no help, right? And
Mhm.
then when they decided, after what, 3 years of sitting or so, that he was going to start the next year, and they got traded Aaron or whatever, and fleeced the Jets. Um, uh, during training camp, they were talking about how bad Love was looking and everything, and throwing
Mhm.
interceptions. You remember that?
Yeah, I remember
And
that.
man, he
Yeah.
come out that first year. He looked damn good, boys. He looked, uh,
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the year,
yeah,
man, the numbers spoke for itself,
yeah.
and he took them on a pretty deep
And
playoff
and if
Yeah.
run.
I'm not mistaken, we played Green Bay first game that season, and he took it to us, man. And I'm like, oh man. And I was
Yeah,
expecting this dude, maybe not to be bad, but not to be that
Not
good.
yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I was so
yeah,
damn mad that all that shit we had heard about him, and the dude's good. And damn it,
yeah.
they got another one in a row. You know what I mean? Like just reload another one. Green Bay and the
Yeah.
quarterbacks, man,
Yeah,
dude.
for sure.
Hey,
Uh,
They
they
got
on
they
they
got
on a
it on
heck
the
of a run.
QBs.
yeah,
Yeah,
they're dialed in, man, and we just struggle,
yeah,
But uh, like I say, I even say we struggle, but really, when I really think about it, I don't. I don't really think we've had the worst quarterbacks in the world for a long, long time. We've had the worst offensive line for a long, long time.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's been a terrible mixture of both at times. Um, it seems like when we get one right, the other one falls apart, and vice versa. But to call a guy like Jordan, what were people expectations of the quarterback that they're calling overrated? I mean, because to me, is he a top 10 quarterback?
No, I don't think so.
Nah, he's not top 10
Unless
quarterback.
you're talking
You
about
know,
pay.
yeah. I mean, but when you're in a position like that, you got a guy like that, you got to keep him in your building unless you got somebody that's better than
Yeah,
him.
yeah.
Unless you got somebody better, you got to keep a guy like that in there. So yeah,
That's
Pam.
that's a whole nother subject, though. You don't want to get me started about the amount of
Yeah,
money these cats are
I
making and
feel
how
like
fast it
yeah,
just keeps growing and growing and growing. And everybody's got to be the next highest paid motherfucker at at each position. Irritates
he
me,
said,
man.
yeah. Kind of gives you a bad attitude. I get it,
Yeah,
Ed. Believe me, I understand. You know, because some of these guys are robbing the bank,
yeah,
man,
yeah. And
and
the cap doesn't go
they're
up.
not even
The
using a
cap
gun.
doesn't go up as much as these salaries do. Gonna come the time when a team can't field a full roster of even decent players if they just got two studs,
yeah.
and that ain't gonna work.
Yeah, nope. I mean, but listen, I'm glad we're where we are. You know, I
Yeah, I
hope
think we're in good shape.
it doesn't get to a point. I hope it doesn't get to the point where we have the same feeling about Kayla that we've had about our quarterbacks in the past.
Yeah,
I hope Caleb comes this second year and ascends and continues to ascend to be, the MVP caliber guy that we all think he
right.
is. I mean, at least I do.
I'm with you.
I don't want him to go out here. I don't want him to go out here and overplay his hand trying to make the fans happy. I think he just needs to be you know and he's a self-aware guy. He's a guy with a lot of self-awareness, so he understands the
He
moment.
does.
So I think he's going to go in here and do what's best for the
Yep.
football team. And as far as his personal accolades, that's secondary. But I think he's going to try to make things mesh. You know what I'm saying, together, and we all can be happy in Chicago and say finally we got
Hmm.
one. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
absolutely, bro.
So
I'm with you.
yeah, yeah. So we talked about the trenches. You talked about how those guys are going to help us. But Aaron Bronner says a number one defense takes pressure off the
Oh,
QB
it
as
does.
well.
I don't think we're
Say
gonna
we
have
need that back.
a number one though.
Yeah, a number one defense.
Nah, we don't
I
got that.
don't think. Now let me say
Top five,
something. I'm
maybe.
sorry, Ed. Yeah, I don't think having a number one defense is necessary. I think if you're in that top five, top 10
Sure.
window, you know, if we came to it and we ended up with a number one defense, I would not be mad at
Oh no,
all.
you wouldn't.
But I don't think I wouldn't be mad at all. But I don't think that's totally necessary for what we're trying to
Mhm.
do. Because there's been plenty of Super Bowl winning teams that had number
Yeah,
one
they
that
got
didn't have
hot
a
at the
number.
right moment.
They got hot at the right moment. So I think what's going to help the Bears tremendously, from Caleb on down, is that we get better at situational
Yeah,
football. Because throughout the dynasties that we've seen, um, the long-lived Patriots and even some of the guys that had these short-lived runs, we've all seen them excel in situational
yeah.
football. And I think, and I pray that we can get better and with this coaching staff we get better at that more than anything.
Absolutely, because we sure sucked at it last year.
Hey, I couldn't say it better. I couldn't say it any better than that. I could have, but I'm gonna carry myself like the kids are watching tonight.
I think I think the coaches being you know, just like worlds and worlds better than the last regime and the one before that. I think that's gonna make a huge difference. I mean, the players that we've required, I think, that's huge too as well. But I think these coaches, bro, like they're gonna teach these dudes where to be, when to be there. And it's gonna be guys who probably not even the most talented who might make our team just because they understand football. So like we talked about the intelligence too. So that's what I'm waiting to see. I can't wait to
Mhm.
see how that coach's influence on this team like really takes form. That's what I'm eager for too. It's just as well as the players too, but those coaches, bro.
Yeah. And as we talk about those coaches, like let's really get into it. We got former players around
Yeah,
here,
for sure.
man. We got guys that strapped it up and
Yeah.
laced it up to get out here on this field, like that played big time crunch time, that have been in plenty crunch time winning
Mm-hmm.
situations. Guys like Al Harris, Randall L, even Eric Bieniemy for that
Right.
matter. He's definitely coached. He's definitely coached in those trenches. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
JT
He's
Barrett.
definitely
JT
coached.
Barrett in college. I know it ain't the league, but
Yeah. But he's been
yeah.
around it. He's coached around these, you know what I'm saying, these
Yeah.
situations. He's seen how these other coaches handle these
Yeah.
pressurized situations. So that's something he can bring to this ball club, you know. And him being a younger guy, he can be more relatable and can actually lock in with Caleb and help him understand. Because he's not that far removed from putting helmets and shoulder
Yeah,
pads
no,
on
you're right.
himself.
Yeah, I
So
agree.
it's just so many things. Like, and I hate to be so excited and so happy and have such great things to say so early. You know what I'm saying? I hate it to be like this because this is a long fall from grace, bro.
Yeah,
If things don't go right.
yeah,
You feel what I'm saying?
and you you probably you don't want to get excited. You don't want to get because we've all been excited before, and
Yeah.
we've seen what happened. But this thing, it's hard not to get excited because
Yeah.
we're talking about the coaching staff, the roster.
Mhm.
Man, all the makings of something special here. Uh, so you almost have to be a bit excited, but I know what you're saying, Darius. You got to kind of hold on to it a little bit.
Gotta temper 'em.
Yeah,
Gotta temper those expectations, man. You have to.
stay
But
leveled out.
it just makes listen. It makes so much sense. And that's, because I'm usually not, what I'm saying, I'm not usually head over heels about a whole lot of things. But in this particular situation, like 1+1 is never equal 2 like
Right.
this with the Bears. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's never happened like this. We've had some twos and fews on the coaching staff, stuff like that. But to have this stellar staff with a stellar group of young and middle of the pack players as far as age is
Yeah.
concerned. Like, we ain't never had it like this, man. Now Brian Urlacher and that crew, that was a special group as well. But we understood that the Rock was Lovey, and no one else on that coaching staff really gave us any kind of extra
Mm-mm.
hope because we knew Lovey was the one that held things together. But this, we understand who Ben Johnson
Mm-hmm.
is. But down from him, we got other guys that we can look at like, oh, okay. It's just a lot to be
Yeah,
excited
I
about. That's
agree,
what
bro.
I'm saying.
There is.
So, I would just, it would be in Bears fashion that this shit falls apart, but I don't think so. I'm gonna keep it in,
Yeah.
and I think it's gonna work out. And it's not gonna
Yeah,
be the
that's
flash in the pan like
yeah.
18 was, because after 18, we still ain't recovered from 18 if you want to keep it real,
No, we haven't.
you know? So I don't think it's gonna be a flash in the pan thing. I think, we're gonna take advantage of because usually most teams have like this 4 or 5 year window where they're going, you can guarantee them, you can put pretty much, what I'm saying, push them in the playoffs. I think that's where we're gonna be at. But as long as we maintain and stay competitive, man, that's what we want.
Yeah,
We don't
absolutely,
have
bro.
we don't have guys losing confidence and falling apart because a team makes a big play. You know what I'm saying? And we carry it through the rest of the season. That's not something I want to relive, fellas. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
nah, bro. Not at all. Who is this talking crazy? Oh, Nick. Whatever. Oh, Nick. He said iffy on Williams. Williams will be okay, bro. I guarantee you that. And we even when we bad, we still beat up on the Lions.
Oh yeah,
That's
yeah,
without being on our side.
yeah,
We were still
man.
at y'all top, even with Ben. So good luck.
Yeah, like the Lions, man, beating them is like low hanging fruit, man. Like, When we was at our worst, we had, you know what I'm saying, we got,
We
you know,
still could go beat up on y'all.
yeah,
Cut it out.
man. But shout out to them, y'all. Hey, listen, if I'm a Lions fan, I'm getting all the trash talk I can out because
Right.
it's coming to an end. It's coming to an end, bro. Trust me, it's coming to an end. But
Yes, sir.
and across the division, man. Listen, respect to the Vikings, Cheeseheads, and the Lions. Respect to y'all. But we coming
All
for
went to the
y'all neck.
playoffs last year.
We coming for y'all spot. We coming for the top spot in the North. And I hope every player that's gonna strap up for us in training camp and anything else before then has that same mindset and attitude. But on that note, you guys got anything else? Anything else you want to share? Ed, I know you came in a little late, man. You got something you want to say to the people?
Oh no, man, I'm good. I'm all good. I can't just just looking for a good season, man. I want to see something special. Like I say, that we got all the makings for it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I now we got to wait to see it, but I think we may see something special this year.
I'm with
Yeah.
you. I'm with you. What about you,
Oh
Anil? How you
man.
feeling?
Man, I'm feeling good, man. I can't wait to start seeing these guys fly around. I know the team is going to gel like we needed to. We got good coaches. We got good players. We got depth, bro. I'm super excited. And we still trying to add pieces even now, man. They out. We might wake up tomorrow with a notification on our phone. So all I'm going to say is let's bear up, man. Bear down, claw up. And y'all know how we going to do it, y'all. This year is the year that Caleb is going to have one of those years where last year, 3,500 yards. I'm gonna say 3,700, 3,800 this year, with about 25 touchdowns, 9 picks. That's cool. I could take that. And we,
41,
yeah, let's get it. So bear down.
41.
I hear that, Ed. Listen, hey, as far as this yardage and stuff is concerned, man, if you just want me to say something,
41.
hey, I'm looking at least, what I'm saying, probably about 32 touchdowns,
Mm,
maybe eight or nine picks. 4K. I can't
mm.
I just can't see him not. I
I
can't see
feel
him not doing it. Now I ain't gonna say 4,500 and all that, but at least 4K. You know what I'm saying? With a decent amount of touchdowns, he's gonna keep those interceptions low, I
yeah,
feel. But I think because I do think there's a way that you can be aggressive and still maintain a low interception rate. I do
mm,
think there's a world where that happens.
yeah, for
I
sure.
Yeah,
mean, we see
he's
it.
gonna
We
have to
see it.
let it fly more than last year, though. He held on to some of those. Just he was being careful, right? But you can't
Yeah,
be that careful. He's got to let it fly a little more.
that was
But
Flus
think
and
Agreed.
them.
about it.
Oh,
Think
Flus and
about
them.
it. With all that holding on to it and being so careful and trying not to get interceptions and all that, that like
Mm-hmm.
he did, and still threw for 35. Was it 35 and some change? Almost 36 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, true story.
True
Yeah.
story. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, there's a window where he can be as aggressive. He can be aggressive as hell and still don't have that high interception, that high turnover rate.
Yeah.
Um, but with that being said, man, I think we're gonna park this car, man. We're gonna allow everybody to either get to bed or get to watching the rest of this NBA basketball tonight.
Yes, sir. Yes,
But
sir.
I
Right
Always
want
a
on.
treat.
I want to thank the good people for joining us in the chat. Listen, your comments, your interaction is always wanted, needed, and respected. We appreciate the guys that have passion for their clubs, and the guys and girls that have passion for the Bears. And we hope that and we pray, and we're glad most of the time that you guys can keep that thing respectful when you share your
Yeah,
thoughts.
yeah.
Appreciate you guys joining us. Appreciate Tracks for the opportunity. Appreciate you fellas for, what I'm saying, coming through here and sharing what y'all share. Ed, glad to have you on with us tonight.
Thanks,
Right
Ed.
on. Right on.
Appreciate you.
Glad to hang out with you fellas.
Yeah, yes,
Yes,
sir.
indeed. Yes, indeed. And With that being said, everyone be safe. Have a wonderful night. We'll see y'all on the next one. Peace up and bear down.
Peace up.
Right on. Peace out.